Okay, so now the social networks have been set up, and what's interesting, as you can tell by these icons here, is that it actually goes out and verifies that the information that you've put in is correct. So that can save, you know, a lot of headaches down the road. So I'm going to click on next here. It talks about synchronization, blah, 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 learning more about the tabs. I'm going to click on finish, and it should load up the information. Okay, so this is the HD2. So this is HTC Sense. This is just an amazing user interface coupled with amazing hardware. So let me rattle off a little bit more in terms of the specifications. The device has, okay, so I've already talked about the size. I'm going to click on this. So I've already talked about the size. Let me talk about the weight. It's 157 grams, which is 5.54 ounces. Now, that is actually kind of heavy. My wife was using this phone, and when she first picked it up, you know, her first comment was, wow, that's really heavy. It is, in fact, kind of heavy. I mean, number one, you have a big hunk of glass here. Number two, you know, you have a metal back here on this portion. This doesn't really weigh that much, but there's, frankly, just a lot of really impressive killer, you know, kind of high-end hardware inside this device, and so it's not that surprising that it is a little bit heavy. There's a few buttons on it. I'll just go over it quickly. You have the talk and send button right here. You have the home button. You have the Windows Start button. So this is a Windows Mobile 6.5 phone. So when you press the start button, the start menu comes up here. This is the new start menu for Windows Mobile 6.5. You have the back arrow, which allows you to go back, and then of course you have the call end button and the power button. Over on the side here, you have a volume up and volume down. So you can hear the speaker going up. You go all the way down. It goes into silent and vibrate. I'm a big fan of this, frankly, in terms of how usable it is. Most, you know, kind of dumb phones, you know, regular phones on the market today, when they have a volume rocker on the side, and you can press up or press down to control the volume. Windows Mobile always tried to be a little bit smarter, tried to go with all these profiles, but the net result was that you ended up making it was just a little bit too difficult to switch your ring volume, which is the most basic thing you could possibly do. HTC made this nice and easy. There are no buttons on the front. There are no buttons on the side here, and on the bottom, as I mentioned, it uses micro USB to synchronize and charge, and it has a 3.5mm headphone jack. I've knocked other phones in the past for not having this, so I have to give HTC huge praise for including a 3.5mm headphone jack. By simply doing this, now this device can be used as an MP3 player without the need for either 2.5mm headphones, which frankly nobody really has unless they're sort of cell phone, you know, based and have a built-in microphone. And of course, this means you don't need to carry an adapter with you. So way to go, HTC. I was really happy that they did that. So what makes all this amazing stuff happen under the hood? I'm going to just show you a little bit in terms of the performance. Now, do you see like how fast that is and how quickly it responds to touch, and then how quickly each part loads? That is from the Snapdragon processor. So that is a Qualcomm CPU, and that processor runs at an amazing 1024 megahertz. So this is a gigahertz processor in this phone. Let me say that again. That's a gigahertz processor in this phone. That is amazing. You know, we've been stuck at kind of the 524 megahertz, maybe to 800 megahertz at the most for, you know, quite a while. A lot of phones in the market are still 524 megahertz. They do that largely, you know, for power consumption. The Snapdragon processor in here is a beast. It's a beast in terms of performance, and it's a beast in terms of battery life. So the battery in here is a lithium-ion battery. It is in fact removable. Now I'm going to attempt to do this on camera, but I might in fact fail. You have to take off this panel here, and the only way to take it off is this. You have to put your fingernail in this little slot here, and it is, okay, I got it off. Now, that was actually pretty easy. At one point, I trimmed my fingernails about a week ago, and I was trying to get this thing off. I could not for the life of me get it off. So I'm not entirely thrilled that HTC did that design, but well, there you go. So here's the battery. Here's where you put the SIM card. The device also has a micro SD card slot, and inside here right now I have a 16 gigabyte card. If I can get it out. There we go. Yeah, so I have a 16 gig card right there. So, sorry, actually I take it back. That's only my 8 gig card. My 16 gig card must be somewhere else. But of course you can put an 8 gig, a 16 gig, all the way up to a 32 gig if you can find it. Right now they're pretty rare and pretty expensive. 16 is actually quite affordable. Yeah, so then that's the back, and then you just kind of snap it on here, and away you go. Make sure all the sides are snapped down, of course. On the back, it has a pretty impressive camera, quite frankly. It's a 5 megapixel camera, and one of the things that they did that I always knock HTC for and everyone else is that most camera phones rather, they don't have a flash. HTC actually has a dual LED flash, and I got to tell you, this flash is friggin' bright. It is really, really bright. Now, from a photographer's point of view, you know, you're not taking awesome pictures. Pictures taken with the dual LED flash, they look like they were taken with a flash, but you know what? If you're capturing memories, you don't care too much about the quality. It is far better to be able to take a picture in sort of like a dimly lit room than to be able to not take any picture at all. So I'm really happy that HTC included a flash. It's also autofocus. We'll talk a little bit more about that later when I do an actual demo of the camera. So let me see. So I've talked about I've talked about the battery. I've talked about the CPU. Now in terms of talk time, so there's something else I need to point out. So you see up there, right at the top there, it says E. Well, here's the bad part about this phone, at least for me in North America, is that right now this phone is 3G, but only on European and Asian frequencies. So the North American version, as of December 2009, has not yet been released. So this is a 3G phone, but it's 3G on European and Asian frequencies only, so you can't actually get 3G in North America. So right now, I'm sadly stuck at the very pathetic edge speeds, but it of course is 3G elsewhere in the world. Now, HTC says 8 hours of video playback and up to 12 hours of audio playback. So that's actually quite good. I haven't had a chance to really test that, but I will say this about the battery life. This is the kind of phone you pretty much want to recharge it every single day. Like I mentioned, so it has this huge screen. It has this massively powerful processor. It goes through battery life like nobody's business. On an average day, I will use it, you know, like fairly frequently. I'll be sending text messages, maybe a couple voice calls, you know, active sync with my Exchange server, all that kind of stuff. You will end up getting, I will end up using probably about 60 to 65% of the battery life, and you don't typically, and then overnight it probably loses another, you know, 5 to 6% when it's just in standby. So pretty much you want to recharge this thing every night. If you're not a super heavy user, it will last you 2 days, but that is really, really pushing it. So again, this massive screen and this great processor and awesome performance, it does come at a bit of a price, and one of those prices that you have to pay is, of course, battery life. So I've already talked about the headphone jack at the bottom. Now it comes with a few different sensors. So it has the G sensor, and the G sensor is, of course, just simply the motion sensor. So as you can tell, it rotates when you put it into landscape mode. But here's something that's kind of interesting. It doesn't rotate if you rotate it this way. I don't know why. It's weird, you know, like my natural inclination is to rotate things, you know, to the left, so it works for me. But when my wife picked up the phone and I told her to rotate it, she rotated it to the right. And of course it didn't do anything, and that was a little bit embarrassing because it's not really cool when you tell someone to do something for a demo and then it completely fails. I don't know why HTC did that. Maybe there's a technical reason, but there you go. It also has a proximity sensor. What that means is that when you're in a call and you hold the phone up to your face, the screen will actually turn off to help conserve battery life. Great, great feature. It also has an ambient light sensor, which means that depending on the amount of light overall that the phone is sensing, it will adjust the screen brightness up or down. Another, you know, really, really nice feature. It has, in terms of other kind of hardware, well, software, I already told you it's running Windows 6.5 Professional. ROM, it comes with 512 megabytes of storage of ROM, and it comes with 448 megabytes of RAM. So 448 megs of RAM. One of the big reasons why is HTC Sense, this user interface, takes up like gobs of RAM in order to have, you know, really, really nice performance. Now, you can get that RAM, you know, it's already in there, so it's not really a big deal, but of course, the more RAM a phone has, the more power it uses up in order to keep that RAM powered up. So that does contribute to the other factors. Now, in terms of internet access, it has Opera Mobile. So this is Opera Mobile here. I can click on Launch Browser, and you'll see that. I'm going to do a separate video to talk about the software, but I did want to mention that it does have Opera Mobile. It has 802.11b and G Wi-Fi, so you can get Wi-Fi access there. It of course has Bluetooth. It has great tethering features. So one of the things that you can do, and I'm not entirely sure, yeah, here we go. So you click on Wi-Fi router here, this icon for Wi-Fi router. Oh, I didn't quite get it. And what you can do is it'll actually share out your internet access, your cellular data, as over Wi-Fi to other devices. So you can actually share your phone's mobile connection. Now, of course, this doesn't work for me because I'm only on Edge here, and it would be pretty ridiculous to share out an Edge connection. But that is actually an option, which is really cool for HTC to do. And of course, you can tether it. You can plug in the cable at the bottom, and when you plug it into your laptop, you can actually tell it, say on the device, boom, I want you to be a wireless internet connection for me, and actually, connect up to the internet. And then also you can also do sharing over Bluetooth, which is another really nice feature. It supports a bunch of multimedia. It supports, WMV, MP4. It supports WMA, MP3, AAC. So it actually in the media player here. So this is the media player, and again, I'll go through all of this separately. But it does this really nice kind of cover flow type deal. Again, really nice hardware software in terms of the integration. And yeah, it also has a built-in GPS, which is pretty much a given. Most smartphones today have a built-in GPS, but it also has a digital compass, which is actually really cool. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I can demo this here. I'm gonna have a bit of a demo fail here, because I'm not actually sure if there is a function, a program here that you bring up to show off the compass. I managed to get into it once, and that was here we go, digital compass. Okay. Okay, so I'm supposed to, it says, please move away from sources of interference or reset by moving your phone in a figure-8 pattern. So I'm gonna just kind of do this semi-off camera here, and I don't know if this is actually going to work. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So there's the digital compass. So you can see as I move it around here, it actually adjusts. Again, it's not a big deal, but it's really nice to have that hardware in here. Not so much for this, but because of software developers that are gonna create really cool applications that will of course use the digital compass. Location-based awareness software, etc., etc. Yeah. Now, just as I sign off here, I'm going to show you one kind of cool thing. I'm going to show you the weather demo. So if you've never seen the HTC weather app, this is a demo of all the different types of weather that the application actually shows you. So this is mostly cloudy with snow, and as you can see, it actually frosts up the edge of the screen, which is just totally killer. Intermittent clouds, you get a bunch of clouds coming in. Windy, you get, leaves blowing across the screen, partly cloudy with a thunder shower, so you see the screen actually flashes there. This is just eye candy, but, honestly, it's beautiful eye candy. And if you're going to show someone the weather, well, you might as well give them a really cool looking, thing to look at. This is showing you that it's cold, and right now where I am, it's cold, so this is quite appropriate. And then, of course, you have the thunderstorms without the rain, and then we are back to sunny. So again, HTC did a really beautiful job. The hardware is super impressive. This is not a cheap device. I'll put up a buy link in the sidebar over there, or down there if you're watching this on YouTube HD. So you can buy this, but it runs somewhere in the neighborhood of $800 US, and that's as of December 2009. Of course, the price will always change, so be sure to check out that link. Yeah. An amazing phone, fantastic hardware. I'm going to do a separate video to talk about some of the software and the built-in apps, because of course this is a Windows mobile phone, but you would never know that, as you flip through the entire the user interface. You have to dig down pretty deep in order to find Windows Mobile. This is the calendar app, for instance, and we're not actually looking at Windows Mobile. I click on New Appointment, and we're still not looking at the stock interface. This is all stuff that HTC has done, so they've done a really really fantastic job with that. So this has been Jason Dunn from Windows Phone Thoughts. This has been my first impressions and unboxing video of the HTC HD2. Hope you liked the video. If you do, please rate it, comment it, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for watching.